One of the most common questions is, how long will the coating last? Most of us would believe that if the deck still has some colouring, then it is lasting and protecting the timber, but this is not true. To answer the question, we need to look at three key areas: timber colour or tannins, moisture absorption and cracking, and long-term protection of the timber. Here we have pieces of Merbau decking that have been left out in the weather for 3 years. We also have some new pieces which you can see have discoloured from bleeding caused from water. Moisture allowed to lie on the surface of timber will cause bleeding of the tannins. We'll now cut the timber into separate pieces and demonstrate the importance of retaining the tannins, which is the natural timber colour. Firstly, we coat the old weathered timber with Deck Dock Timber Cleaner and allow it to dry. Then we oil the weathered timber. The timber is very dark as it has lost its natural tannins. This is irreversible. We now oil the new piece of Merbau, coating all sides to lock in the tannins. Here are our 4 examples: the new timber untreated, the new timber oiled, the raw weathered timber, and the weathered timber cleaned and oiled. Had this timber been protected from the beginning with the unique Deck Dock oiling system, it would have been able to preserve its natural tannins. By immersing this piece of raw unprotected timber in water, after a few minutes you will see that the natural tannins from this small piece have tainted the water. Now we will take the piece of timber from earlier that has been coated with Deck Dock and place it in water for 24 hours. You can clearly see that Deck Dock has protected the colour of the timber as it has not bled nor discoloured the water. This deck was coated with a rival product 1 year ago. You can see the surface has already cracked, peeled and discoloured from harsh weather conditions. In order to restore this deck, the entire surface would need to be sanded down, costing up to $10,000. There is some colour still showing, which is the cosmetic appearance from the rival product. This coating gives a false impression that your timber is protected, but it is actually fully exposed to the elements. On closer inspection, you can see the detrimental effects caused from not protecting the timber. This coating is nothing more than a semi-transparent coat of paint. It is clearly not absorbed into the timber, and what we are seeing is merely a coloured skin on the surface. This highlighted area shows the coating breaking down and allowing moisture to be absorbed. This will cause swelling, and as the timber dries, it will shrink, making it crack. In this example, we have coated the left side using Deck Dock, and on the right side, a rival product. Both were exposed to outdoor weather for 2 years. These cracks allow moisture to penetrate the fibres, causing long-term damage. If the Deck Dock side wasn't protected, these cracks would have continued. As we show both ends of the example piece, we can see cracking right through the rival side, but no cracks on the Deck Dock side. This next piece again has Deck Dock on the left and the rival product on the right, and the same exposure outdoors for 2 years. When we add moisture to the surface, Deck Dock repels it and beads, while the other side completely absorbs it. Even on the sides where the cracking has gone right through. Here are 2 pieces of yellow stringy bark timber. The piece on the right is untreated and was pulled from a 5-year-old deck. On the left is a new piece. To show the adverse effects of not protecting timber when it is new, we cleaned and oiled the weathered piece. We then sanded one side to a 4mm depth. You can see the timber is still dark as it's lost its natural colour. However, there is some slight colour coming through. On the underside, which hasn't been exposed to weather, we lightly sanded it and you can see the colour the timber should be. That's the natural tannins. You can see that the effects of this timber is irreversible. The more you sand, the more damage you do. This can be avoided if you use DeckDock right from the start. So how long does it last? Well, DeckDock will help you avoid these big problems: cracking, distortion and peeling, moisture absorption, an unnatural appearance that will fade, high maintenance from sanding, and long-term detrimental effects. By choosing DeckDock, you are investing in your deck for long-term results, protecting it for years to come. DeckDock's unique oiling system will lock in the timber's natural colour. It will repel moisture and prevent the timber from drying out. It won't crack or peel. It's easy to maintain. And best of all, it will protect your timber long term.